Today we have the opportunity to hear from our app developer. Kenny Weiland has been a hardcore computer nerd for almost 30 years and has been making 5-star iPhone and Android apps since 2009. He has a wide range of interests, from finances and investing to quantum physics. He has worked hard not only mastering his technical skills, but also focusing on how those skills can be used to empower and educate others. Kenny is passionate in his commitment to improving the quality of life of those around him. When he asks how he can help you, he really wants to know. When he says he's going to do something, you can bet that he'll do it. And when he says he's going to be there for you, he's going to be there. Early. I certainly wouldn't be able to do all the things that I do without his love and support. Aww. Everyone, please welcome Kenny Weiland.
All right, thank you, everybody. Now, when I graduated from college with a degree in computer science, it was right during the dot-com times. And it was just as nuts as everybody says. We had $1,200 paper lamps that you could get for like $10 at IKEA. Every single person in the office had a $1,500 office chair. That was actually one of my favorite parts, because when the company started to crash, we got to take those home. But it was not a very fulfilling time to work, because all the time that we spent was spent squeezing pennies. We never had a chance to make awesome things, to build stuff that helped people. And so it wasn't all that awesome. However, after the crash, I had the privilege to work at Google, and that was awesome, right? Because they really focus on building cool things and building stuff that helps people, making the web better. I really enjoyed my time there, but I decided to go off on my own, and I had to figure out, well, what am I going to do on my own? Now, some of you may remember that this is my first computer science teacher. I really did try to find a real picture of him, but I swear to you this is what he looks like. Now, he once said to me that computer science is not about programming computers, it is about solving problems. And that's what I do. Literally, all of my professional training is about how to elegantly solve problems. So, I got my best friend Kyle, we made a company, and we decided to solve problems using apps. We made our first app in one day, and so we called our company In a Day Development. And so what kind of problems can we solve with apps? Well, first I want to talk about contract work. This is not going to be my focus for today, but this is a core part of my business, so I just want to mention it. If you know somebody who has an idea for an app that they think that can make money, we can help. Now, if you want more information about this, please set up one-to-one with me after the meeting. We can go into it in great depth. Today, though, I want to talk about a specific one of my apps called the 10b2 Financial Calculator. Now, a financial calculator has special functions on it that let you calculate things like loan payments, interest rates, stuff like that. These calculators are very difficult to use, not only because they're complicated, but also because you can see they just have that tiny little screen at the top. Okay? It's very hard to see. You don't get a lot of usability out of it. So we decided to solve that problem. Now let me give you an example. As you can see, this is the top of the plastic calculator here. Okay? Don't worry too much about the details of what exactly how we're using the calculator. Just understand we're going to calculate a loan payment. We're going to put some numbers into the calculator, and it's going to give us a number back, and then we're going to be okay. All right, so we're going to talk about, let's say, a 30-year loan. That means there's 360 monthly payments. So we're just going to put 360 into that button right there, and then we're going to put 6% interest in that button right there, and then we're going to put $100,000 into that button right there. And now notice, though, you can't see the 360 or the 6 anymore. All right? You only ever get to see that one number on these kind of displays. That's part of the problem. So then we'll finish it up. We're going to put 0 over in this button right here, and then we're going to calculate our loan payment, and it's $536.82 every month. But what if that answer is wrong? Okay? What if we accidentally typed 5% instead of 6%? They're right next to each other on the pad. This is the most common problem that students run into when first learning to use how to use a financial calculator. And when they're beginning, they don't have a gut feeling for whether or not this answer is correct. I'm sure that a lot of you don't have a gut feeling for whether or not that answer is correct either, because I bet none of you realize that's the wrong answer. So this is a problem. How do we solve it? Well, this is what our calculator looks like. So when you enter all of these numbers into the calculator, they stay on the screen. Okay? This allows the student, even though they don't have a gut feeling for how it works or what the answer should be, when they get their answer at the end, they can look across the values above the buttons and realize that they don't match up with the homework question, for example. Right? They can see, okay, well, 360 is right in there, and 6% is right in there. Crap. No, it's not. We put 5% in. So they can catch that error before it begins to confuse them. So they can put 6 in and realize the right answer is 599.55. So professors would rather their students spend their time learning the actual material and not fighting with a piece of technology that's 40 years old, okay? When students run into these little problems, it interferes with their ability to learn the lesson, right? Because they get confused about whether or not it should be the right answer, they get frustrated, and it interferes with the learning process. So, students are the primary users of my app, and I would be very happy to be introduced to any students who are beginning a degree in finance or business, or a recent graduate, someone who's graduated in the last 4 or 5 years. That would be excellent. However, I'm particularly interested in meeting their professors, because their professors can benefit from recommending my app to their students as well. For example, this is Dr. Jerry Beloit. He's a finance professor at Clarion University in Pennsylvania. He recommends my app to his students every semester, because how often do you think his students are going to walk out of the house without their piece of plastic? But how often are they going to walk out without their iPhone, right? They're going to go back to the dorm for their iPhone. So he found our app and he saw that we had both an iPhone and an Android version, and they worked the same way. So he'd be able to teach students just one way, and everybody would get it the same thing. And so every semester he gives me a brand new set of customers, and everybody's very, very happy about it. So there is an additional benefit for Dr. Beloit, which is that I've spoken to several finance students who ended up not buying their financial calculator, even though it's required for class, because it's $40, and for some students that's very difficult. Well, the good news is that my app is only $6. That's much easier for them to get, and as I said in my topical introduction, it's way more awesome. But it gets even better than this. Both Apple and Google have a bulk purchase program for educational use. While these young ladies might be a little young to start college, any university can sign up for this program and purchase apps for their students at half price. So they can get our app for only $3. So students save money, that makes them happy. Their homework goes easier, they understand better, that makes them happy. The students are doing better in class, that makes the professors happy. Everybody's getting my app. I'm happy, right? So, how can you help? So I would love your help finding these professors, the students, and the parents of the students. Anyone really connected to this realm. So let's go through it real quick. I have some handouts that I'm going to give with all this information on it, so don't worry about writing this down. You can just listen for now. If you find a finance or business professor, you can ask them, do your students use a financial calculator? They should say yes. Do they sometimes struggle when first learning to use it? They should definitely say yes. And then, may I introduce you to a colleague who made an app that can help your students succeed? Hopefully they say yes, and we can start a dialogue, and they can start recommending my calculator to their students every semester. Now, if you find a student, you can ask them, are they studying finance or business? Obviously, do you have a financial calculator? Because some of them didn't get it. Would you prefer to use an app? I guarantee you they're going to prefer to use an app, right? It's already in their pocket. I love it. So, you can tell them, I know the person who made this app. That always goes over well. He'd like to talk to your professor about recommending this app to your classmates. May I have him contact you? That way I can talk to them, get connected to the professor, and then we can move forward. Now, I know that you aren't necessarily tripping over professors and students in your day-to-day life, but you are more likely to run into parents. For example, Melissa might run into a set of parents who all of their kids are now away at college, and so they're going to be downsizing to a smaller house, right? Or maybe Art is going to be fixing up an old used car that the parents are getting so that their daughter can commute back and forth to college, right? So you'll most likely run into parents more often. So you can find out from them, is your son or daughter studying finance or business? And then tell them, I know someone who made an app to help business students get better grades. Would you be interested in an app like that? But you should say yes. Parents want their kids to succeed. And then, may I have them contact you? That way, I can talk to them, they can connect me with the professor, and then we can start moving forward. Now, I know that I went through this very quickly today, and I'm sure that you have lots of questions. But please, so before you leave today, set up a one-to-one with me so that we can talk all about the details. I have a handout with all of these questions, and it is conveniently sized to fit in the sleeve in your referral generator so that you can always keep it with you wherever you go. Thank you very much. My name is Kenny Weiland. I appreciate your time today. I'm with Innoday Development, and we make amazing iPhone and Android apps. Thank you.